before the next leaf, you hand snip it there. So that way the plant has a chance to respawn. But you got to do it by hand. So what happens is when you take a hedge trimmer or a gas pruner and you're trimming it with that, you're just really just ripping the leaves, and it gives it an ugly look. You know, it gives it a really ugly look to the plant. So there's a lot of plants like that you have to do that type of trimming to.
All right, yeah, crotons are really just a lovely plant, very colorful. I have some in my home. That's great advice, William. Thanks very much. And Jennifer, thank you for contacting Cutter's Edge. Now, as I mentioned, the second half of the show today, we're going to talk about choosing outdoor bromeliads. Mike, let's start off with you. I assume there's a number of varieties of outdoor bromeliads. About how many different varieties of outdoor bromeliads would you say there are?
Well, first, let me say I'm very excited about this show topic. I think William and all the guys that I work with will tell you that I really like bromeliads in the landscape. And there's really a limitless amount of bromeliads and variations and hybrids that are out there that can be used in a landscape. So I'm excited to talk about it a little bit. But, you know, bromeliads can be grown outdoors. They'll thrive all year long in our tropical climate. They can be placed outdoors. They do well in containers. You know, in the summer months, we've got to be a little cautious with sunlight on some of the varieties because some will grow in full sunlight and some need a little bit more shade. Some are a little bit more squattier. Some have a different form to it. There's just really a ton of options for bromeliads.
Mike, are there certain bromeliads which you say would be your personal favorites?
You know, we talked a little bit before the show about this question, and somebody said you like bromeliads so much you probably were a bromeliad in a past life. So I could probably talk for 20 minutes on one variety, but what I really like, so bromeliads, there's a lot of different types of bromeliads, but what we're seeing a lot in the landscape currently is we're seeing landscapes go a little bit more contemporary. And so if we think of a contemporary kitchen or a contemporary house, less is more. You know, in a contemporary kitchen, you've got a few key pieces, you know, stainless steel kind of things, and just very clean and sleek. So on the landscape side, if you want to have something with a little bit more of a contemporary feel to complement the architecture of the house or structure, whatever the case may be, you need something with form. And there's a lot of bromeliads that fall into that category. So my all-time favorite is a bromeliad. It's Bromeliad odorata alba. And essentially, it has a great form to it. It's round, and it has this beautiful white silvery leaf. It can grow in a full sun situation and, you know, lined up in groups and so forth. There's nothing like it in the world. And it's something that I use a lot because I like it. And it's something that there's not a lot of plants that have that white color that you can get. And white in the landscape really stands out. And if we're visualizing that contemporary house somewhere in a neighborhood in Miami, a lot of times those contemporary homes are going to be white. So having this white silvery gray in there, it really complements each other out really nicely.
And Reno, my wife, she really loves Mike. And so she had him come in and assist her with redesigning some of our front yard, where they put these cobalt blue planting containers in the front yard. So they're really beautiful. They're tall. They're probably 3-4 feet. And they put those Oreados in there. They put them in there, and that silver look with those dark blue pots is just gorgeous. It was just really a beautiful touch.
Well, it's kind of a running joke when we started. I started talking with William's wife, and we were putting together some ideas. And I know William was kind of cringing because we do have different tastes on the landscape side of things. And I think he knew I was going to slide in an odorata or two and bromeliads on there, and we did. But I'm glad to hear that it did look good, and it really does. And so their house does have some of that contemporary feel to it. And, you know, oftentimes when we think of plants and we think of colors, we don't think of green as a color in the landscape, and it is. And then we don't think of white as a color. White is a really strong color, and it really has some pop to it. So having a